You know, another definition that our government has a lot of trouble with has been the definition of a dollar. If you ask the tax code, they said that little thing called a Federal Reserve note, on the bottom it says it's $1, and therefore you pay your taxes in $1. But if you ask anybody to define a dollar, they, at the IRS, they have no idea. It's a Federal Reserve note. So $1 is a Federal Reserve note. A Federal Reserve note is $1. I mean, that is their logic, and if you don't obey and understand their logic, then you go to prison. And if you challenge it, you're considered unpatriotic because you're not paying your fair share. But the whole thing is, there's a lot of definitions in the code for a dollar. There's a definition of the old silver dollar, the old gold coins, the new silver dollar, the new gold coins. They vary a bit, so there's no precise definition, but they're considered a dollar under the code, and they're supposed to be legal tender under the Constitution. And if you insist on it, you go to prison. Someday, we're going to have to understand money, and we're going to have to understand the principles of liberty. We're going to have to get our courage back to believe that we, acting on our own behalf, we can take care of ourselves. We don't need the government getting in the way all the time. There's an old saying by Benjamin Franklin. He warned us, and it's frequently quoted. He says, don't give up any freedom for security. If you do, you'll lose both your freedom and your security. And I think that can apply to us today, even in a group like this, in a group that I assume are not looking to give up any freedoms to get more stuff from the government. But there's still an obligation for all of us that if we pursue the material aspects of protecting our lives, and that is all there is. And I think that's important, because if you pursue your material benefits and you take care of yourself, you're not hurting anybody else, and that's okay. But you will not be participating on the long run of trying to have a better evolution of what our government ought to be. So if you concentrate on that and you do a good job, you haven't harmed others, but you haven't participated in improving the situation. So I think that there has to be one more step. And that is that you have to participate in the process of protecting individual liberty. And if you do, it isn't all that difficult. The one thing that we could do that would be a suggestion is that problems are complex, but why don't we just, follow the Constitution? Wouldn't be too bad idea. Try that out, and we could find a lot of the contracts, contractual law is in there. You shouldn't steal from people, and government shouldn't steal from us, and there's no permission for a central bank, and only gold and silver is legal tender. You're not supposed to go to war unless war is declared. So it's a pretty good start. But what we have lost is not the words of the Constitution. We have lost the character of the nation, because the people don't care, and they send people up there that don't care either, and they just totally ignore the Constitution. The Constitution is very limited. The Constitution, any document, is only as good as the people. If you have people without character, they're not going to, obey it. But this whole thing about what we need to do is crack down on the lobbyists. It's all the lobbyists' fault. They go up there and they agitate for their special benefit. That's not true. I never vote to regulate the lobbyists, because you have a right to lobby. Constitutional right to complain and petition and go to the government. But, we could get rid of all the special privileges of government, and then there'd be no incentive to lobby Washington. But that is not going to happen. But the other option is having only people there that would resist the temptation to be influenced. And that would take a lot more people doing what I suggest they do, and that is just vote no. Just vote no on all that stuff. But we have a lot of problems that we have to deal with, and I think we have to know where we come from. I believe that it's important to know what individual rights are and where they come from, and they don't come from our government. But the whole purpose of life is to improve ourselves, to work toward excellence and virtue, and to take care of yourself and get the satisfaction of taking care of ourselves. And that only can be done in the free society with very, very limited government. When government gets involved in taking care of us, whether it's with overseas manipulations, whether it has to do with economic redistribution of wealth, or telling what you to do with your personal liberties and personal lives, when they do that, they say that it's well-intentioned and they're doing it for your best interests. All it does is destroy liberty. And when you do that, you can be quite sure that you won't have a country that will respect honest money, that is gold. You will not have peace, and you will not have prosperity. So we are at a crossroads. We are at a crossroads now. In the next 10 years or so, maybe it'll be the new generation, or with your participation, you have to invest a little. It's not a sacrifice, and it's not giving up anything. It's to protect your own interests. You can do great financially, but what good is it if the government keeps knocking on your door? I'm here from the government. I'm here to arrest you. So my suggestion is invest some of your time and your money in the efforts to promote freedom and liberty, and make sure that we can maintain a society that will respect gold, peace, and prosperity. Thank you.